Hello everyone, I am Dr. Williams and welcome to Intro Psych for the spring semester. If you are here, you're in the right spot. This is the Start Here menu, appropriately named, and that is because this is where I want you to go first off to get all the important information that you're going to need for the rest of the semester. So if you're here, way to go. I'm just going to walk you through sort of what's here and give you an overview, but definitely this first week of classes is where you want to go ahead and get familiar with everything that's here, logging into Play-Doh, logging into my psych lab, doing all of that you need to do to get familiar with the class and just making sure that there's no glitches or you're not having trouble getting access to anything. If you are, we want to work out all those kinks in this first week before any real coursework starts. So if you're here, you're in the right spot. Here is the podcast that you're listening to right now. Here is the course syllabus. You're going to want to go ahead and print that out. I would recommend doing that and having it with you, like having a little folder for this class that you can organize your stuff into. It's just helpful having an actual physical copy in front of you. That way you can be reminded of important due dates and things like that. Sometimes when things are in a document on the computer, we don't look at them as much. So I know when I was a student, I always printed out the most important parts of my syllabus that had dates, and I kind of, stuck them on my wall near my desk or wherever I worked. That way it was a good reminder to me. But go ahead and read through this with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure that you're fully aware of all the requirements for the class, as well as how things are going to run, what the policies are and expectations, all that good stuff. And definitely let me know if anything's unclear or you have questions about anything. This week would be the time to email me about that. Your textbooks for the course are these. They're available at the bookstore. If you purchase them at the bookstore, you're also going to get with this book, the Cicerelli and White textbook, which is the main textbook, you're going to get an access code to the My Psych Lab online resources, which come bundled with the book. Because this is an online class, this is a must. The My Psych Lab tools that come with this book have everything in them. Personalized study guides for every chapter, quizzes, tests that I won't be using to grade you with, but that you can use to do as practice to get ready for the tests that are all in Play-Doh. There's flashcards, there's videos embedded within every chapter. So there's just a lot of rich material there, and for an online class, that is what you need. A lot of these things I would be doing with you in class if this were an in-person class. So this is a must. If you purchase your book from another source other than the bookstore, that's fine, but you need to make sure you also purchase the access to My Psych Lab. That can be purchased directly from the publisher, which is Pearson. If you go to pearsonhighered.com and you enter in the authors and you look for the My Psych Lab access code, you'll find it there. I'm not sure how much that costs because they change it all the time. But definitely, check that out. And if you have any questions, let me know. So that's the main text. This is the secondary text that we'll be using mainly for our discussion posts. These are the 40 most premier studies in the field of psychology. So these are the studies that really changed the field and subfields within that. Very pivotal, important studies. Some of them groundbreaking. Just big time names that we're going to be taking a look at in the area of psychology. And so it's a really great book. I actually used this book, I think it was the first or second edition when I was in college, and it was just with really great studies, and I kept it for a while. Since I was a psych major, I hung on to it, and that was a really good decision, because a lot of the studies we would talk about in my other psych classes, like in my developmental classes and in cognitive counseling, personality, we would run into a lot of these big names and studies, and I always had a great reference point to go to for that. So if you're a psych major, I would recommend hanging on to this book. It's going to be invaluable to you for sure. Okay, here are instructions. If you click on here, it's a PDF of instructions for how to get into my psych lab, along with the specific course code you need. So 2 things. You need an access code, which gives you access into Pearson's My Psych Lab. And then you need a course code, which tells you within there where you're going to go, whose class are you in. So that's specific to our class. So the materials that you find once you're in there are in accordance with what I'm using. So check that out and navigate through that, and let me know if you have any questions. Now, because this is an online class, I do require everybody in the first week to check in with me. And the way that you do that is by posting a bio of yourself to the student lounge. And this is going to be something that will help introduce me to you, who you are, as well as your other classmates. I've given you my bio here, just a little example. Mine's a little longer. Yours doesn't have to be that long, but please include pictures, at least one, so we can see you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your major, maybe what you want to do, where you're from, anything. But 3 key things is I want 3 words that describe you, and that can be anything of your choosing. So take a look at mine, and you can kind of get an idea of how to do that. But you're required to post this in the student lounge. So if you go up into communications and you click that tab, you'll see a student lounge section in the main area here. You're going to click in there and you're just going to post your bio there. You can just post it by your name. That can be the title of it. And you've got to do that by Friday. That way it lets me know that you're actually enrolled in the class. You didn't drop it, you didn't forget about it, and I can see that you're there and that you're doing that. So that needs to be up by Friday the 26th to keep your enrollment in the class. And that helps me tell the registrar who is and who isn't in the class. In case you do not have your books quite yet, I've done you the favor of posting the PDF to Chapter 1 of the main text here. This is an older edition version, so I do that to get around copyright issues, but it will help you. Not a huge difference, especially in Chapter 1 with what material is there, but the book is also on reserve at the library. So if you are local or you're on campus, you can check the book out for a period of time at the Ely Library. But this will help get you started. But I would not delay, I do want to say, I would not delay getting your books. You want to have those ASAP because you do not want to fall behind on assignments. And the excuse of not having your book will not hold up for not finishing assignments. So don't let that happen to you. Here are your instructions with how to do your discussion board postings. A main component of this class will be on discussion boards because we're not meeting face-to-face. We need to hear from each other, so this is the way we do it. I've given you all the details. I've also given you a rubric of kind of how I will score you on these, what I'm looking for. They're worth 10 points each, and I'll break down those 10 points for you in the rubric so you can see exactly where your points are coming from. You're going to notice that I'm a big stickler for citing concepts. I want to see you pulling from your readings and putting in concepts to help answer the questions and explain what you're doing. So all the rules for that are in there. The posting dates, due dates, and times are in your syllabus, the very last page, so check that out. Again, another good reason for printing that out. Here are some instructions that will help you to cite your sources as you use them. So if you're pulling from the textbook, you don't want to say, The textbook says you want to cite properly by author and date. If you use a direct quote, there's a special way to cite that. All of that information is in here, and you're expected to abide by it, and if you do not, you're going to get deducted points. I'm a big stickler for this because especially if you're a psych major, and even a lot of the social science majors need to cite in APA style. That's American Psychological Association. It's a stylistic way of citing your sources, and it's something that you want to get used to, so I like to do it right away in Intro Psych. The rest of the stuff here, really I'm going to let you look at your leisure. If online learning is new to you, you might want to check this out. There's some great resources I put in there. How to email me, what not to do, here's a good little example, as well as some policies on plagiarism, academic honesty, good things to be aware of. Again, a funny video on citing and grammar. Because this isn't an English class, oftentimes students focus on the concepts they're trying to get across, and all the grammar and editing goes out the window. If your paper is atrocious and I can't read it, the concepts are going to be lost on me. So you want to make sure you always proofread and edit anything that you do. You always want to capitalize your I's. One of the biggest mistakes on online writing is people write like they're texting. And so I get a lot of lowercase I's, which you would never do that in a real paper. So just remember that. Some tips on taking multiple choice tests, which all of our exams will be. How to take good notes and reading tips. If you're coming straight from high school, what are some differences you might want to be aware of? This is a great document I handed out in class. Just what the expectations are in high school versus college. Really important. And then I've put some downloads for you. Sometimes when you take an online class, your computer needs to have certain stuff on it in order to access the documents I post. So if you don't have any of these, it might be a good idea to get them. They're all free. For watching videos or downloading documents, that's going to go ahead and help with that. Okay, so we're back up to the top here. That's everything in this menu. If you're new to online learning or you're new to Play-Doh, you're going to see everything that's important runs along here. These have little X's next to them, or I should say slash marks, because you can't see these. This is my view, so I can see these weeks. Your view, you're only going to see up to week 1. So every Sunday night, I will make the next week available, okay? So weeks run from Sunday night to Sunday day, the next week. So these are the tabs week by week. They follow along with your syllabus and what I have there. So your syllabus is set up according to weeks and dates. So that's how that works. Here is some help and resources if you're having any issues with Play-Doh, things not loading up for you, you're not having access to stuff. I would go right here. You can submit a help ticket online and they will help you quickly because I can't help with a lot of those things. Any announcements will pop up right away as soon as you get into the course. That'll be the first thing you usually see. They'll also usually be emailed to you, so no worries there. Communications, if you click on there, you'll see how to reach me. The best way is email me directly, swilliams@westfield.ma.edu, rather than emailing me through Play-Doh, because I don't see that right away, whereas I see my regular general email quickly. My general policy is I will respond to you within 24 hours. I try to be better about that, but usually within 24 hours, if you've emailed me, I will get back to you. Also in the communications tab, you're going to see the student lounge. That's for you as a student. You guys can talk to one another there, ask questions of one another, organize study groups, whatever you like. There's also an Ask Dr. W tab. If you have a common question, you want everyone else to see your answer, or maybe someone else can answer you. If I'm not available, you can post a question there. Always a good thing. And then lastly, all the discussions will go up here. As they happen, you'll get access to them. And your grades will pop up here. As those happen, you'll see access to those as well. Okay, that is it. I look forward to a great semester with you all, and please just let me know if you have any further questions. Happy semester, everybody.